Hey y'all, it is November, I don't know, 27th, 2018, and thank you for joining me. I'm just posted up in the truck right now. I had a brief moment, so I figured I'd holler at y'all. Thank y'all, and I appreciate y'all every single time, you know what I mean? Y'all always come through. There's certain constituency of people who see my videos regularly, and some people who see them every once in a while. Some of the best people that I've ever come to know, and maybe some of the worst people, every walk of life, to be sure, comes through. And I know it's not big numbers, but it's enough. All right, it's people all over the world. All right, I understand that. Very respected people come to this channel and see my videos. I see this video, for example. Not a lot of people do. All right. Just to, be brief about it, like everybody else out there, just be general. I have family, whatever, who couldn't be bothered at all. There's not enough time in the day to ever come across this channel or something like that. Things of that nature really don't impress them. They're not entertained by it. And that's great. That's it. There isn't enough time. The thing is, I do a lot of stuff, and there's never enough time in my day either. So, just to put it out there, as you would imagine, that is how it is. All right. Like I said, for people who want to do the YouTube stuff or the internet stuff, know that people are going to come out of the woodwork. I'm talking about all over the world to talk to you, to have a running conversation with you. It's nuts. It's amazing. It's something to be very thankful for. I'm very thankful for it. All right, but like I said, even people very close to myself, and as I imagine everybody else out there, even those sort of people could not be bothered. Whether it's these little rants or whatever you might call them, this little monologues that I do, whether it's that, whether it's a documentary, which was a wild success, by the way, and it's still growing in numbers. People are seeing it. People know about it. People are onto the situation regardless if they've seen the documentary or not. So a lot of people around the world really onto this Parkland thing. Regardless, you know what I'm saying? There's people out here who's not onto this Parkland thing. Regulars of mine, came through, watched the documentary anyways. It was a feature-length film. It's an hour and a half long. I think the next one's probably going to be an hour and a half long. The thing is, even those people who really just kind of wanted to see what I was up to, watch the video, let me know how much they liked it, and they really did enjoy it. They let me know a lot. So, I got that sort of situation, and mind you, I feel like it's probably a lot of our situations out there. And personally, I'm taking my time to focus on that in particular. All right. I don't know if I would suggest, but I would probably suggest for everybody else out there to do that as well. Because like I said, a lot of people want to feel important, right? When people come from all over the world to tell you how much they like your stuff that you do, that makes you feel very important, right? It's people very much related to us by blood could not care any less, all right? And that's all right. The thing is, you don't hear me talk about that too much and stuff. It's really not an issue for me necessarily. I've always grown up since I was a little bitty baby, and I blended into the background, all right? And it got me out of a lot of trouble, all right? There's a lot of trouble I got into, and there's a lot of trouble I never got into from simply blending into the background. I really don't mind if you're too busy, right? Okay, so with that being said, of course, the title of this video is about something else. And I've talked about it, and I talk about it from time to time. And I'm actually really, really emphatic about it. All right, it's really something that's on my heart all the time. And that's child abuse. The thing is, I'm not going to get into details on this video. I'm not going to name names and things of that nature because it's not necessary. What I had to let people know out there is, like I said, there's certain people I'm considering more so now than others, all right? People who are actually intellectually respondent, people who can have a conversation about significant things in this world. Those are the people who I'm tending to focus on now. I have many family members who simply are not capable. They've never been capable. God bless them. I don't hate anybody in the world. I don't hate them especially. The thing is, they're not capable. They've never been capable of having the types of conversations that actually take place on this channel and other channels. They're just not capable of it. And then, furthermore, if that wasn't that enough, and that's all right, like I said, that is all right. I know that they're not capable of it. I do forgive them. It's not a problem. Furthermore, I'm very, and over the years, it's just grown and grown, very, very much disgusted, very, very off-put. I don't know what all, appalled. I don't know what all kind of words you could use about child abuse. That it's not something I'm willing to tolerate at all. And the thing is, the reason I bring it up is because it's becoming more and more abundant. It's becoming more and more visible all the time. All right. And it's got me thinking about my environment. Necessarily, the thing is, I got things that I got to do, and I'm carrying them out right now as far as documentary making and things of this nature. I got things that I got to focus on, all right? And the abuse that I've seen take place, mind you, most of it's been physical. Actually, a lot of it's been verbal as well. Abuse upon children. That's real bad. Thing is, I'm also, I'm an opponent of abuse, like on any level of children. All right. Sexual abuse is, mind you, I think the worst. All right. But physical abuse is not much higher than that in my eyes. I'm sure, different people have different opinions. In my eyes, it's not much higher. Verbal abuse really is not that much higher because you're mistreating children. All right. Like I said, I'm not going to exactly go into details. I'm not exactly going to name names. I've said certain things before, but physical abuse is not something that I'm really willing to tolerate. The thing is, my brain, it just, it goes pretty much, here's what happens. I freeze up and I don't do anything. All right. And I just observe what is going on. All right. And hopefully it would just stay at that. But the thing is, it messes my brain up. And I got work to do. I can't be messing my brain up. I can't be walking around looking at abused children. All right. And mind you, I'm talking about this physical abuse. Just for example, if anybody is confused out there, what is physical abuse? I'm not the foremost expert, but I've seen little infants get their heads pushed into pillows. All right, in order to make them go to sleep. Mind you, if you know anything about an infant child, that does not help them go to sleep. When you mash their head down into a pillow, I've seen it. I've seen and I've heard children getting struck for not saying words correctly. All right. I've seen children getting and her getting struck for not knowing what word to say. All right. I've heard children getting struck for not eating correctly. Things of this nature. I've seen children get absolutely verbally ridiculed and completely embarrassed in front of me. All right. Like it meant nothing. All sort of things. I mean, the list can go on and on. Like I said, there's more details that I could share. I've seen these sort of things, and there's more details that I could share. Like I said, this is basically an explanation as to why I personally, and a lot of people, for that matter, would probably, I just want to rather go somewhere to be alone, to always be alone. There's certain people who are loners, or, they prefer their solitude. For many different various reasons. This is the reason I'm thinking about. Gotta change my environment. Thing is, I can't help but wonder to myself, if I just wander around seeing all this child abuse all the time, then what kind of person, what kind of hypocrite am I? All right. That's why it's got me thinking, by any means, probably I got to change my environment before too long and stuff. Until the meantime, just kind of stay to myself and try to not look at anybody or talk to anybody. It's really gotten to that point. All right. I don't know how many people have been around abused children. When it ain't nothing you could do for them, it's kind of heartbreaking. It's kind of messed up. All right. And that's what I'm thinking about doing. I've got a lot of my financial stuff in order. With time, perhaps I could get a vehicle and perhaps find a one-room shack or one-room apartment somewhere that I could stay by myself where child abuse doesn't exist. Right. Because I had to let you know, on a residential note, I need to live where child abuse does not exist. All right. And the thing is, a lot of people have children out there and they administer discipline and things of that nature. I'm very much an advocate of discipline. The children need discipline. But at the same time, there's that line that you cross into where you're now abusing your children. All right, physically, like I said, verbally, it's apparent to anybody else watching. It's not apparent to them. All right, they don't seem to know that they're going overboard when they're slapping their children for not knowing how to eat correctly. All right, so like I said, a relocation, it's kind of the point I can't tolerate it. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, dang, what's come of me? What's coming me? The thing is, like I said, a lot of these people don't know. Pretty much every one of these people don't have any idea what they're doing. They're fallen individuals. They know not what they do. Typically, they don't believe in God and they hate God at the same time. Puts their brain in a pretzel. And so they wind up abusing children and stuff. And they really don't understand how wrong it is. All right. But before I get out of here in this open letter, thank you. And I appreciate you for joining me or even considering these kind of topics. I want to let you know that I stand against child abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, spiritual abuse, all sort of abuse. Every abuse that you could think of, I stand against it. But I had to also let you know that some people don't realize when they're sliding down that slippery slope. Some people don't realize it. When they're starting to go from disciplining a child to abusing a child. All right. I have to let you know that in my personal perspective, from what I've seen, you start to slide down that slippery slope of abusing a child when a child no longer is a person to you. I think this applies to most people out there who know children. The child is not a person to these adults out here. The child is an ornament. An ornament, a decoration. It's exactly what the child is. And so if the child's not doing what you want it to do, well, then smack it around maybe. Maybe yell at it. All right? Because the child is an ornament. It's not a person. It's not like a contributing member to your life or anything like that. It's not a whole individual that deserves kind of like recognition on that regard. No, it is an ornament, and the child is treated like an ornament its whole life, right? To the point is, man, that child could go and do all sort of work on the internet, for example, and it's only one example, and you don't even have time of the day to watch it at all, ever, all right? Children are treated as ornaments. And that is the essence of where child abuse comes from. All right. I'll let y'all know where this situation goes. But, I believe, of course, in my Lord, looking after me, He's going to make sure everything's all right anyways. I just got done watching this documentary about I was about Slipknot, this band, and they were talking a lot about the lead singer. And the lead singer had been abused as a child, and it caused a whole mess of problems, right? To include sexually abused as a child. It caused him a mess of problems. He tried to commit suicide a number of times, stuff like that. There was multiple times in his life where he hit rock bottom, all right? And yet, and still, he kind of pulled through, and he's probably doing stuff. He probably has a decent enough life going on right now. I hope he does. I pray for him that he does. So sometimes you have to make hard choices, hard financial choices. I do as well. In the face of something that it's wrong, and you can't tolerate it no more. It's just intolerable. Anyways, it's November the 27th, 2018. I'll holler at y'all, and I appreciate y'all, man. I don't know about this child abuse stuff. I don't think it's right for the future. I'll holler at y'all.